20th April 2020. For quite a lot of us, it would have been just another day where we were locked in our houses, and thanks to the pandemic. But there was a group of traders based in Essex, a town on the outskirts of London, who were just waiting for the day to begin so that they could make their move. What move were exactly they planning to make? Is it some heist? No. They were going to bring the biggest players in oil market to their knees. In all our episodes of Legendary Traders, I have told you about men that beat the market. But in this episode, you will learn about these group of men that made the right moves at the right time and walked away with $670 million by the day's end. Alright, so before we begin, I think you should know a little about futures contract. And futures contract are financial products that can be traded. And when you buy a futures contract, you get the right to buy or sell the asset at the settlement date. But the thing with futures contract is that once you buy them, you don't get ownership of the underlying asset. All you get is the right to get ownership at the time of settlement. And settlement is nothing but the time until the contract is valid. Now, traders trade these contracts with no intention of taking ownership, or as they call it, delivery at the time of settlement. They just look to capitalize on the price swings of these financial assets. 20th April 2020, a day before the settlement date of oil futures April contracts. A group of 9 traders trading under a fund that goes by the name Vega Capital London were up and early to trade the day. Their strategy for the day was very simple. Keep selling oil futures contract throughout the day and then buy back all of them by the day's end. And seems like a pretty normal thing for day traders, right? Might be, but you know what? That particular trading day wasn't going to be normal at all, and you will understand why I say that. You should know that during that time, the pandemic was at its highs and the worldwide lockdowns were just being announced. The sentiment of the market was completely pessimistic and almost everyone knew that the prices weren't going to go up, but no one knew that the prices were going to go down so bad. So these were the events that led to 20th April 2020. Lockdowns meant that the demand for oil would fall drastically, and this is very bearish for oil, right? Now, the traders at Vega Capital had already built their short positions in oil futures and were waiting for the prices to fall. But just as they got through the midday, something happened. There was this huge influx of sellers in the markets and seemed like everyone came in the same time and started selling every single oil futures contract they had. Traders at Vega Capital saw this as an even better opportunity and they did what any other trader would do. They kept selling more and more at every chance they got. We had already seen such a pessimistic trading day in March 2020, right where the stock market and a couple of other financial markets crashed, but this time, things were going to get a bit nasty. Oil, which is considered to be the most vital substance in human civilization, was trading at minus $40 at one point in the day. Yes, you heard it right, it's negative $40. It was like you would get paid to buy the oil. This thing that happened had never happened anytime before, and the entire environment was nothing less than chaotic. There were news flashes all around breaking the big news that oil had crashed and it is now cheaper than water and whatnot. Even though this was chaotic for most of the traders, investors and other market participants, guess who liked what they saw? Yes, you are right. These traders at Vega Capital. Do you follow what exactly did they do that day? Say that they sold the oil futures at a price of $40. They were now getting a buy it back at minus 40. That's a straight $100 profit on every contract they have sold throughout the day. This entire scene was so big that they walked out with a profit of a whooping $670 million, and that's insane. I'm sure even they never thought that something like this could have happened, and riding this bearish trend all the way to the bottom might not have even been on their plans. But hey, where there's an opportunity to make money, a trader is always there to capitalize. But I will tell you what's even more interesting. Just when the day ended and when all of this happened, no one knew exactly what happened for quite a lot of time. A group of nobodies in a market full of big players had made a fortune and no one knew about it until a journalist got a tip about it. Liam Vaughan, a journalist, got the information one day that a small time fund based outside London had done something massive on that day. These guys were massively responsible for a $1 billion loss that a Chinese firm had incurred due to everything that happened. Everyone was shocked. There were big funds, financial institutions, oil giants like Shell and BP, all booked losses that day. But these guys made enough money to sustain multiple generations for the entire lifetime. And they made all of it in a single day. But who were these guys exactly? Well, we only have one name, Paul Commons. There's not much known about this man except that he was an oil trader trading in the pits before it closed down in 2005. He goes by the nickname Cuddles, and it is said that he was one of the best oil traders while he traded in the pits, and he had made quite a lot of money for himself. But eventually, trading pits were closed and everything became electronic, and Paul lost his job. Unlike his colleagues that went on to work at big banks and funds, Paul took this as his chance to go out on his own. He set up Vega Capital London in Essex, from where he would continue his trading operations. Over the time, he got in people of work with him, groomed them, and taught them the skill. And that's how we get the other traders that made a fortune along with him trading oil in the negative. Now, there's something very interesting about this group of traders that he got together. These were people in their 20s who also had little experience trading in the pits, but when I read about this, I could get the turtle trading vibes from this group. This group started trading, and it is also reported that they were quite successful in what they did. They lived great lives, drove nice cars, and vacationed at nice places. This wasn't just a group of professionals that came office in the morning, worked together, and left. They were also socially connected and very more like buddies. It is said that they attended events together, played golf together. All of them were even part of the Western Ham United fan club. So, in short, they had great bonding as a unit. Who would have known that traders trading from the place on the outskirts of the biggest financial hub of the world would have brought the biggest players to their knees on 20th April 2020? This event that happened was too big to be ignored by anyone, right from the general public like us and the authorities as well. The general public were hailing these traders as heroes as they were smart enough to make a fortune in a market where the big guys dictated the terms. But on the other hand, the financial authorities and institutions are pushing for investigations to be conducted on these traders as they believe that they have broken some rules by manipulating prices by selling heavily following the settlement date. The investigations haven't really found anything concrete. Not that I have really found anything concrete, but whatever people may think or say, these traders are nothing less than legendary traders for me. I know this is once in a lifetime trade, and it is very unlikely that something like this may never happen again, at least not anytime soon. But we have to give it to them. They took on a serious risk, and I'm sure it was a very well calculated risk, and they had the stomach to ride it all the way and make a fortune. It is said that after this trade, the traders stopped trading due to all the attention that they were getting from the authorities and the media. They have set up other ventures and are waiting for all of this to settle down, and who knows, maybe they will be back and have another huge winner. So, this is all about the trading event on the 20th April in the year 2020, where a group of 9 traders trading under Vega Capital London, a fund based in Essex, made around $660 million. It is quite a story and worthy enough for me to add them to our Legendary Traders series. By the way, there are many such legendary traders that you should know about, so do check out other videos in the series and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do not forget to like this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.